Well, last week she gave us the lowdown on carbs and sugars. Now dietitian and senior lecturer Dr. Caryn Zinn's back to unveil the truth about fats. Good morning.
Hi.
So when we think fats, well, when I think fats, I think butter and oil, but then I think of good fats like your avocado, and the fats that come from food like that as well. In terms of what we talked about last week, which was the carbohydrates, where do fats fit into the whole kind of, you know, what you should be consuming every day?
Well, I think fats have been wrongly vilified over the years, and I actually think we need to eat more fat in our diet and less carbohydrates. So that message needs to go hand in hand.
But there must be fat and there must be fat. Good fats and not so good fats.
Yes, and there is quite a lot of controversy around that at the moment. But I'll have to say that everyone agrees that trans fats are considered bad fats.
Which are what?
So those are the fats that you get from the hydrogenation process. So it's processing of fats. And we find a little bit of trans fat in margarines, not really New Zealand margarines to any huge degree, but in our baked goods and our processed foods like biscuits and bagels and things like that. Stuff
that you would find in the supermarket. What if you were making your own at home?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of oils and fats you're using to prepare. So if you're using any kind of margarine, it would have some kind of trans fat in it.
But butter? Just plain old butter?
So plain old butter, I think, warrants a bit of conversation. I think it's been vilified over the years, incorrectly so, for various reasons. Yeah.
Because there was a time, certainly, that everything had to be fat-free. You know, if you wanted to lose weight or something, you go fat-free, and it was loaded with sugar.
That's right.
Completely need to flip that on its head.
Yeah, and if you look at our dietary guidelines, that's what they recommend. Have minimal fat and a lot of carbohydrate. And look at what's happened to our health over the years. It hasn't really gone very well. So
and obesity rates.
Yeah. So what we're doing is actually not really working. So a reduction in those carbohydrates and sugar and an increase in fat. Unsaturated fat and possibly saturated fat as well.
So what ways would we increase on a daily basis? What ways could we increase good fats?
Yeah.
What sorts of foods would we eat?
Yeah, you could include more avocado, which is a great source of monounsaturated fat. You could include some nuts, you could include some fatty fish like salmon, you could include olive oil and things like butter and coconut oil to cook with would be a good idea too.
Do you still have to be careful with how much you are having of those things? It's not a free-for-all, is it?
It depends. I think that the fat and carbohydrate message cannot be separated, and you can definitely eat too much fat if you're eating too much carbohydrate, and that ends up being the standard American diet, or the SAD diet, which we call it.
Right.
And that clearly hasn't gone very well for them.
No.
So if we up our fat content, we do need to decrease our carbohydrate content. It's really important.
Okay, so some of the worst fats we could be eating are things like your deep-fried chips, because there's your carb and your bad fats all in one.
Yeah, so it's not a license. People hear fat and they go, great, I can eat some fat.
Yeah.
It's not a license to have that cream donut.
No, damn it. So essentially we still want to be focusing on whole foods and things that come out of the grounds, things that can rot. Yeah,
absolutely. So we get our natural fats through whole foods, and that's definitely the best way to go.
Can you explain the omega-6-3 ratio and how that works?
Yeah, so that's another really important part of fat and its relation to health. So there's omega-6 and omega-3, and they're both polyunsaturated fats, and they're both essential fats. So our bodies don't produce them, we need to get them through the diet.
Right.
The problem is we eat too much 6 in relation to 3, and that is an inflammatory pattern or state that it puts the body in.
Where are we getting the 6 from that we're getting so much of it?
Okay, so we need to have less of 6 and more of 3.
Okay.
So omega-6 fats are found in processed industrial seed oils, so like our vegetable oils that we typically cook with and that we find in our processed foods in the supermarket, full of omega-6. And over the years, as butter consumption has decreased, polyunsaturated vegetable oils has increased. Yeah. So we need to have less of 6. More of 3 looks like more fatty fish, particularly salmon. You can get fatty fish, you can get omega-3s from mackerel and also from sardines, which is a cheaper source for some people.
So fish. If you're not actually having enough fish in your diet, can you get it from a supplement? Is that...
You can. Again, I'm a real advocate for whole foods, but you can get it from a supplement. You can also get it from things like walnuts and linseeds too.
Okay, cool. And that whole, what's the LSA?
Yes.
That's good stuff, isn't it?
Yep, that's got linseed.
What is that made up of?
It's made up of linseed, sunflower and almond.
Almonds, okay. All ground up and whack it on the cereal and you're good to go.
That's right.
Okay, take-home messages for fat.
take-home message is that we need to think of fat in a different way. We need to eat more fat, hand in hand with less carbohydrate. So there's that really important dual message there. Second take-home message is that we need to eat more fatty fish. That's going to be beneficial for health from several perspectives.
Fabulous, Caryn. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. And Caryn is back next week to explain all things protein.